when the schedule came out, Arash, this was like, there is always the Eastern road swing right off the bat for the Canucks, and depending on how imposing the Eastern Conference is, it's either a cakewalk for them or it is a season ender. Last year it was a season ender, and we kind of didn't expect the same thing to happen this year, but we were, you were reserved, and you were like, well, that's a tall test. That's a tall order. That's a big test for this team. And you kind of looked at starting the season off back-to-backers against Edmonton and thinking like, well, this is a hell of a hole. They better remain healthy. They better figure out a way to climb out of this hole. There is no hole. They are above ground right now.
Yeah, they're above ground. And I wanted to just quickly also touch on the thing that you just said, is that there's this amount of pessimism that's within the Canucks fan base, which a lot of people will respond with, oh, well, that's because, they're just not being positive. No, I feel like us going into this season, as much as things were quiet and we wanted them to kind of get off on the good foot and on a good hop, when we were thinking about the Canucks being potentially down to start this season with the one-game homestand and then into the road trip, that's just us being protective of ourselves and understanding what this team has been the last 3, 4, 5 years. But now I don't know, Ryan. I'm not counting my chickens. They look like they have a spine. Like they look like they have a structure, which it's insane to say because we've just kind of seen so much kind of like slap hazardous Vancouver Canucks hockey where it's just like we're like, man, they're just improvising. When you send your kid to an art class and you're like, yeah, just finger paint and just anything's art, sweetheart, anything's defense, anything's defending. Just believe what it is.
The biggest gripe for me was, in the last 2 years, anything is goaltending because you ride Demko into the ground or he gets injured because it's hockey.
Yeah.
And you put a goalie in. You are a goalie.
You are a man with pads.
Yeah, you own pads and you can arrive at the rink on time. So to see Casey DeSmith, come in for the puking Demko on night one. And getting the win. Through a defensive, we are going to rein in the McDavid Draisaitl two-headed monster.
And then McDavid coming out and being like, well, they pulled their goalie and replaced it with a backup. I don't know. That was kind of rude.
Yeah.
Like, do you want us to bring like a bucket of Thatcher's puke to you,
I
Connor?
felt bad for him on that one. Like that's like
he didn't know.
He didn't know, and nobody knew. Like we were all like kind of wondering. But then the other one's like, well, they're putting out PP1 and 6-1. It's like it was the first power play.
Yeah, it was the first power play they got. They're getting practice. By the way, Sam Lafferty. Can we talk? This goal is kind of losing. It's making the fan base lose their minds a bit because it's a forward that put his goddamn shoulder down and drove the net.
The Canucks have not done that in 15 years.
Redacted from Abbotsford is watching from, I don't know, some hotel in Siberia.
Oh, you can do that?
And he's like, whoa, that's what they meant. Oh, okay, it's good I don't play here anymore. I don't. That's crazy.
I can't do that.
Can I swear?
Well, yeah.
That's fucking nuts, dude. I don't know. I'm not doing that. I've been asked to do some crazy stuff while I'm here in Russia, but
shoulder down to
go into the net. No way. Stefan's gonna get us on Twitter now. He's gonna listen. Oh no.
Lafferty looked really good.
Yeah, loved it.
You mentioned Ian Cole. Defensive effort, like getting in the lanes, like that's did he win cups with Tampa?
Yes.
Or with Pittsburgh.
He's won. He's definitely won.
You'll look it up. But when I'm watching him, and especially like after plays between whistles, like the guy's a gamer. Like it's every generic meathead hockey cliche, but it's like he makes the Canucks difficult to play against.
Yeah.
At the whistle, the bullshit ends. And he's just...
Yeah, he won back-to-back cups.
And it looks like it. I'm not saying like, oh, those, I'm not... This isn't an intangibles dialogue, but there's something in the style of play during the whistles and after that makes a big advantage for the Canucks.
It's crazy how you'll like you found him on the UFA market. Like you found these guys who have been there, done that, and they're not being asked to do 50 million different things.
Yeah.
That's what makes, when you slot specific players into their proper roles, give them the proper usage and proper minutes, it's crazy how amazing players can look when they're not being asked, okay,
Hey, Jason Dickinson.
you going to pot 30 this year, baby?
Well, you had 19 once, so you could up your game a bit, right?
You could up your game a little bit. Let's